Welcome to the Nautic Nomad podcast. I'm your host, Randy Berry. Throw off the bow lines, sit back and relax as we discover adventure, explore the world on water, and share about everything yachting. What's up, Nomads? In today's episode, I'm catching up with Lauren Cotton, the founder and president of Cotton Cruise, to discuss the state of the industry and how your reputation means everything. After spending many years serving captains and crew at Rybovich Marina in West Palm Beach, Florida, Lauren now brings her network value by connecting them through her placement apps and crew housing services. I caught up with Lauren just before the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. If you went, I hope that you had a great time. We had a lot of fun at Flibs this year, and it was super productive for our team. If you want to see what we got up to and the yacht tours that we went on, you can check out our Instagram. Just go to our Flibs Save Stories on our Insta profile at Nautic Nomad. Check out the links in the description for the show notes for everything that we talked about today. And as always, if you have any feedback, we would love to hear it. Please subscribe and give us a rating if you like what we are doing. It would mean so much. All right, let's get into it.
We launched the apps just before the Monaco show. So
okay,
Matt and I were over there for the Monaco show, and we're trying to get, we spent a few days in Antibes to try and get some of the med-based crew on the app. And then when we came back, we really started pushing on this side leading up to the show this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so exciting. So there's two different ones, one for people who are doing the hiring, right?
Yeah, there's Cotton Crew Hire, which is a blue app, and you can download it on iTunes or Google Play. And that's if you're looking to hire crew, or it's great to hire, if you're looking for day workers, it pulls crew based on their geolocation.
Awesome.
So like this time of year, it's great because if, we're up here by Rybovich, when you put in deckhand, you can see how many people are in our crew houses, within
awesome.
Walking distance. And it's a great tool for the boats to use. And then we also have the Jobs app, which is a green icon and Cotton Crew Jobs. And that's our new database. So everyone that was registered with us before will have to go in and get on the app to be back in our new system.
Okay.
But it's great because when we put jobs in it, within less than a minute, it'll ding your phone and you can tap apply. Where the old way, we'd have to email someone and see if they're interested in a job and then wait till they're on a lunch break to get back to us. Yeah. So we just think it'll be a quicker, more efficient way to find crew jobs. Definitely. Which is what we're here to do.
Yeah. And I find too, I feel like the younger generation doesn't really use emails that much. I do, but people are like, what's an email? Like, I don't know.
Yes. Everyone's on their phone.
Yeah. It's just the way it's going, like Instagram and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so big these days. So that's awesome. Good job.
Thanks.
So exciting. Oh, so exciting. So I wanted to kind of get some background. I know, but just for the people who are listening who might not know, how did you get started doing crew placement?
So I had my senior year at university started working at Rybovich, and that was 2005, and I was there 6 years, which is where you and I actually met.
Yes.
So I spent 6 years in the shipyard there. I guess I didn't quite realize building my network at that point. And from Rybovich, I went to Worth Avenue Yachts when those guys started that company in 2011. And I spent 2 years with them. And then the last 5 years, I've had the crew placement. And then we've grown into crew housing and now the apps most recently. So I knew a ton of crew, and friends are crew members and friends that are captains that needed crew. So it's always networking, and probably didn't even realize I was placing people till someone said, being a crew agent's like an actual job. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I could be like,
you can make money doing this.
Yeah, doing this full time. Yeah. So it was, definitely a natural fit to slide into the being a crew agent and finding crew jobs and it's just so much fun, especially when we land people their dream job. Or we just had a girl last week move into our crew house. She had just finished her STCW, and within a week we had her she just got a permanent job on a 50 meter.
Wow.
So we were laughing. We're like, we got to have you write a review for us because you went through the whole program really well.
Right. Like from beginning
in our
to
crew
end.
house. Yeah. And straight into a job. So
that's amazing.
So that's when it's really fun.
Yeah.
And having the crew housing, we get to know so many crew on like different levels.
Right.
That it makes it almost easier to place them because we can, say more than what we've seen on a CV or having like a formal interview.
Right. So it's better if they stay with you because then they get the whole kind of experience and you get to see how they're like, not see like you're there every day, but you kind of get to see them living.
Yeah. And, I mean, just interacting with people on a different,
right.
Looking to move in the house or, if they're complaining about the roommate, you're just having different discussions than it's just about work.
Right.
And in staying with us, I mean, it's, then they'll come and if they're not getting a job, ones that really want a job will ask us, what can I change or what can I do?
Right.
And so we just try and help and give them, all the information we can to get them a job. And that's with our Blue app, the Cotton Crew Hire. People have like posted some day work on there and stuff, but eventually we want it to be a place where, all the jobs are posted and crew, not necessarily, it'd only be our jobs available, but to have multiple jobs from different agencies and boats that, our goal is just to get, crew jobs and trying to figure out the easiest way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. There definitely is a lot of like room there for the kind of technology to move in. That's really groundbreaking and amazing to have on an app. That's amazing.
And it's so quick.
Yeah, that's so good. I was going to ask you, how long does it take, do you think, is there an average time between arriving to Florida or getting registered to getting a job?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, we have people, like I just spoke about a girl we had last week, and, that took her the week for the STCW, and basically the next week had a job.
Right.
And then other people, can be in the crew house 6 months. I think a lot of it has to do with how driven you are. The person that does STCW and, gets their courses done, and then they are out there networking and they're on the Facebook groups applying for jobs.
Right.
They got their CV looking good and they're determined, definitely have a better chance. The other ones that, sleep in all day on days off or not really looking for day work, and care more about partying,
right.
don't always, they're not getting a job as quick as the other ones. Right. And sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. A lot of the crew are coming back from the Med and boats have been looking to hire the last few weeks. And, they don't always want to buy a flight or take a chance on someone over in the Med when someone's sitting here in West Palm or Fort Lauderdale and can, be at the boat that afternoon to interview.
Right.
So some of it is location and, right place at the right time.
Yeah. Well, it's perfect time of year to be here right now if you're looking for
work. Exactly.
Because it goes fast, right? Like people need someone. They need them literally yesterday. So it's like you kind of need to be there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's a great piece of advice. What do you think like would be your most valuable piece of advice for crew members if you had to say that there's one thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think people forget that their reputation is everything and yachting is a small industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we talk to a lot of the crew in our houses and the crew we interact with and remind them, yachting is small and to not, burn any bridges.
Right.
And everyone can see your Facebook and what you're posting. Which, we put crew members forward and then someone looks at their Facebook and, then questions us. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like put that on lockdown, man. Put it on friends only.
So yeah, I mean, but that all comes back to just reputation and
right.
Not burning bridges and getting good references, which goes back to a reputation. I think one of the other things you and I had talked about are like what are qualities and employers are, looking for.
Yes.
And I'd say like the top two would be longevity and good references. And that would all come from, having a good reputation.
Right.
From a good reputation, you can get really far in yachting.
That's true, right? That I never really thought about that before because I don't know. I think on a personal level, like I met one chief stew, my first chief stew, and she pretty much got me all my jobs. But that was like a relationship that I fostered like heavily, but she was also like my best friend in the end. So,
I mean, you have a great reputation, but starting out, you probably did all the right things with her and had, a great rapport with her. And that's what resonated, and she was able to vouch for you in the beginning,
Right. Yeah, because a lot of it is who you know, and knowing crew agents and like having you guys, if they're staying with you, you're great people to know because you've got a lot of those connection, and fostering those relationships is really important. What do you think is the biggest thing crew are facing?
Probably with I call them kids, but the, group getting into yachting now and, forgetting that longevity plays a part. I think they get into yachting and they want to travel and they get on 8 boats in 1 year. And then it makes it hard to place them because the question's going to captain's going to question why has this person been on 8 boats? What's wrong? Right. But I think, looking at, with social media and you're looking at, everyone's doing all this fun stuff and I'm stuck on my boat. But you really got to put in the time. At least that first year, I tell crew to, try and at least get 1 year under your belt on one boat. And then you're set up, that next year you could be pickier, get on an itinerary that was more attractive, this or that. But to get on and to stick it out, at least get a year under your belt on one boat. And then you're far better off on your next position. As far as stepping up or being picky on your itinerary. But I think with Instagram and Facebook, and it looks like everyone's having a blast 24/7, isn't always the case. It is hard work, as you know.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is hard work, and you get on your phone at lunch and you're like, oh, well, everyone's doing this or doing that. And it's, not always true. So, so I think, yachting's evolved where 10 years ago, people did stay on their boats 2, 3, 4 years. We're not seeing that these days. So I don't know if that's a challenge for crew because they don't realize, maybe what they're doing. But I think like social media plays a part into thinking like, I can jump around and I want to go here for this party and do this.
Right.
Which I think hurts you in the end, as far as your CV and, reputation to quit a boat to go, do something so you're not missing out on the fun.
Right.
Probably isn't always the best.
Yeah. I think sometimes people don't realize that those people have kind of those crazy jobs because you might not know, but they did 2 years on their last boat and did their time.
Put in the time.
Yeah. And it's like, don't worry, they're all scrubbing decks or they're, cotton budding or detailing too. The same stuff still has to get done, right?
Yeah.
So they're still doing that stuff, but just in their downtime, it's like what you make of it. But you can still do that even if your itinerary isn't as fun, wherever you are is somewhere probably you've never been before. And it's definitely somewhere, lots of other people in the world have never seen. So make that your exciting. Like even living in Fort Lauderdale, after a while, it can get tiring, but I'm still like, I still live where people vacation. You still have to make the most out of it.
Yeah, you're going to like amazing places, and a lot of people are sitting at, some desk job. And you're meeting cool people. I mean, I think I love yachting just because we meet so many wonderful people. I think you and I were trying to figure out how long ago we met.
Yes.
But yeah,
I think 2010.
Okay, yeah.
It's 8 years.
Probably, 8 years ago.
Holy moly.
It's just so fun because you meet so many, great people along the way. And, especially if you're trying to stay in yachting and make it a career, you've got to be focused on your reputation and building relationships and making, smart decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it all comes back around. And and to be in yachting for a long time, it's a small industry. So
that's true. You don't realize it at first, I think. People are like, oh, there's so many new people all the time. There's so many new boats being built. But when you're in the industry a little while, you're like, oh yeah, like you kind of, you get to see the main people, the main players. And then there are those transient people, I think, that kind of come in for a year or a season and it's not quite their thing. So there is that little bit of turnover at the lower levels. Yeah.
And I mean, it's great to try, or I mean, if in 6 months or a year you figure out that, it's not for you, I'm sure the 6 months or a year was a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely, yachting's not for everyone.
Right.
Because it's a very unique industry.
Yeah, you do meet a lot of like-minded people. I feel like people who are okay with having a transient sort of lifestyle, people who enjoy traveling, people who have a zest for life. I feel like those are the kind of people, who it wasn't enough for them to just stay home. They needed to get on the road and they needed to go and just see new places. So it's really cool.
I was working at Rybovich back before they redid the yard. I had the idea to start doing parties for crew on Friday, which now if you've been there on a Friday night, there's a full band and and there's, all these crew facilities, a pool and, a treadmill gym and a regular gym and a restaurant. Then when I got to Worth, I was like, oh, we should do a crew party, during the boat show to thank the crew for all the work. Cause I know, moving a boat into the show and getting show ready is a ton of work. So I guess parties are my thing.
Oh my gosh, I did not realize that crew party was your idea. I mean, I remember you standing there pouring beer, at the first parties and pouring beer and wine. And those are my favorite part. I was like, this is so awesome.
Yeah, and it's such a great way to network. And I mean, it's great to meet crew and do a formal interview and all this, but a lot of times if I go meet a chief steward or something, I'm like, let's just grab a glass of wine and, have a chat and a normal conversation.
It's adventure time. This is my favorite part of the podcast where I ask my guests where is their favorite place to visit in the whole world, usually by boat. And also, I asked Lauren to share with us some of her current positions she has available. We discuss hiring season and how the industry is adapting to the new technology that's coming out to help people. As always, if you guys need to find anything in new ports around the world, you can go to nauticnomad.com to search or to also add your favorite places to help other nomads discover what they need in each port. Where's your favorite place to visit on vacation and then also for work? Because I know you guys do Monaco.
Yeah, we do Monaco. And I mean, for work, I'd say Monaco and St. Bart's, there's just something so magical about both places. It's almost just breathtaking when you get to either location. Earlier this summer, we did the Newport Charter Show. My husband, who works with me, Matt Woodbury, and runs our housing department, he from up in Cape Cod area. So we enjoy, doing New England in the summer as well. And as far as vacation, I feel like even work trips are a vacation to be in all these pretty spots is always unbelievable. We did take a real vacation this year on our honeymoon, which we did the Med. My husband loves fishing. So we've got a fishing trip coming up to Costa Rica for a week, kind of he loves fishing. So we'll do that. But I feel like most of our trips, whether it be work or vacation, are always centered around the water, salt water and a yacht.
Yeah, definitely. Having to do with the ocean. So you guys go down to St. Bart's in the winter?
Yeah. Or to just do St. Martin. And then I've been down right before the bucket, the St. Bart's bucket, which I think is the same weekend as the Palm Beach Boat Show, which is a huge show for us. And the Caribbean season got a little...
Oh, yeah.
After the hurricanes last year, it was slow, but they're saying things are open this year.
Yeah.
So it's always good to go, show our face and say hi to people and check in and see how they're doing. And, and, keep up with, it all goes back to relationships. So,
exactly.
If there's boats down there and crew we want to say hi to or check in on, it's definitely worth a trip to just maintain those relationships and that they have a comfort level with us. Yeah, any excuse to take a trip.
Exactly. And it's for work, so it's really fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh
Exactly.
man, that's like definitely the perks of owning a business where you can work online and, having to do with yachting, and the yachting entrepreneur world is really so fantastic. That's awesome.
Yes, you're taking you to you're always going to great places. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't complain. We're very blessed.
No, yeah, super blessed. But I know that it can be a challenge at times. How, like, as a business owner, as a woman entrepreneur in yachting, how do you deal with, the challenges that come up?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, thankfully, we're so busy that, I can't tell what's busy or challenging.
It's awesome.
It's all so much fun. I mean, I think, keeping your eyes on the prize, or, one of those things where, knowing what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish every day. We just love people and we love crew and finding them jobs and really, keeping crew happy, that you just keep pushing forward no matter what it is.
That's a good feeling too, I'm sure. Like every day you're just helping people. So that's amazing.
It's very fulfilling and rewarding as well. But I mean, we get our challenges and, things happen. But I think, sticking true to ourselves and being passionate about people and, especially crew in this industry, we can stay focused on that and just keep pushing through every day, whether it's crazy busy or it's a challenging thing or, a frustrating afternoon or, this or that. Every morning we wake up excited to help people. So
I was talking to the crew coach about choosing a career that, if you're going to transition out of yachting, choosing something that you love to do, because you'll figure out the money part of it, but you're going to, in the end, do it every day. So love it.
Yes, I spoke to her recently as well. She's great. And you're right about that. Yeah, exactly. If you're doing what you love, when you wake up every day, it doesn't always feel like work, or the busy times aren't busy. It's not annoying because you love it, and the challenging times aren't as frustrating as they could be because you love it. So
I love that. That makes me so happy to hear. It's really encouraging, and I love hearing from other, entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, and especially in the yachting world, because it is largely, it is largely male dominated. So I've had a ton of females on my podcast, which I just love. My husband's like, you need to interview more males. I'm like, yeah, but I'm digging this.
Yeah, the guys get so much airtime anyway.
It's our time. It's great.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what positions are you mostly looking to get filled right now? I don't know if you want to give out any shout outs. People get on the app.
I'd love to remind everyone, please get on the app and look at our jobs. At this point, I mean, they're changing daily. Which is great, because like that example of the girl last week in the house got the job. Now a bed is open and we're changing the current positions. But I mean, this time of the year, we've got everything from chief engineer, chief stew, second stew on a 60 meter, stew chefs, lead deck hands. So I guess a bosun 48 meter. So it's really like everything at this point in the season.
Yeah, big mixed bag.
Yeah, everyone we're coming in contact with, we're like, please just, get on the app or email us. Our website has a ton of information. If you're having trouble getting on the app, Lindsay, who's in the office with me, we're here to help you figure it out, get you on the app, and hopefully find you that dream job.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. Awesome. Do you find, is there a certain time of year where people are looking for more of one than another? Like, is there like a chief engineer type of year, like, time of year, or chief stews or anything?
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, spring and fall here in the U.S. are the busiest, because that's, ending, right now we're ending the summer season, getting ready for the winter season. So all the boats are doing their shipyard periods and getting reorganized, and crew are making that big shift, whether they're taking a new, doing new courses to upgrade a license. So there's just a number of reasons why there's a shift this time of the year. But then thankfully we've been so busy that typically we've got, a number of jobs in each category, for each position, which is great. But I mean, Christmas to New Year's is quiet. Everyone's kind of using their boat. But then after that, I mean, it's busy in South Florida. I feel like now till June or, January to June. And I think a lot of that has to do with the Bahamas and how many boats, see what the Bahamas has to offer. So they're basing, here, they're being based here in South Florida more and doing trips over there, which is just great for the industry and South Florida in general.
Yes, I agree. I know I had a girl ask me, she's really sweet. She came to get into yachting, but she just didn't feel like it was the right time and she wanted to go home, for the holiday season and come back afterwards. And I was like, like you're American and you can always come back here in January and February. It'll be okay. Like it is off season, as people say, like right now is a hiring season, but there's still lots of boats around for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, that's great advice you gave because, you can't, I feel like if you try and convince someone or try and force them into a position or doing something, you just hate for them to be unhappy at some point and it to be your fault, So, it's great to like, and that's part of the relationship, like having conversation about it and trying to figure out, what makes that crew member happy or what, what they need. And then to try
in the long run. Yeah. You want them there for a long time so that they get good longevity. So the next time you place them, they're superstars. That's perfect.
And I mean, even in the houses we use, how we place crew, I mean, putting, filling people into the houses is kind of the same thing as placing crew. You want people to be a good fit and enjoy their, get along with their roommate and all that. So, so there's some science behind all of it. If you're coming here for the first time and you did your STCW and it's, this big new world and, usually that roommate or the people in your house, end up being your first friends in yachting and some of your best friends in yachting. So, just trying to set people up for success in the industry.
And people can go onto your website, cottoncruise.com for crew or for the housing.
Yes. There's, our emails and phone numbers are on there. As far as booking, we're running it all through Facebook on my Lauren Cotton Cruise page.
Okay. Awesome.
And they can just direct message me on there for housing. Or if they have questions about placement, we're monitoring that Facebook page 24/7 just about. So.
Okay, perfect. That is a great way to get a hold of people besides the app to get a hold on the Facebook Messenger. It pops up on their phone.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we'd spoke earlier about technology.
Yes.
Going with Facebook and our new app and trying to just get things done quickly and more efficiently, I think is why we really did the app.
Yeah. How do you feel the yachting world is accepting like the advancements in technology? You're on the forefront of it, getting onboarding people.
I mean, the app's been well received. Crew have been like loving it, which is great. Awesome. And I mean, I think the industry in some part is driven by technology because boats have, we have a few boats that have the latest submarine on it or they have the newest C-Bob. But I think some of the business is still old school, like relationship based or maybe it's not old school. Maybe the industry is just small enough that you're still making phone calls and using, when a boat comes into port, they're still using, contacts. They've got a ways to go, but we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good. I'm glad it's been going really well.
Yes.
For anyone who hasn't got their apps, if you're looking to hire crew, get the Crew Hire app, the Cotton Cruise Hire app, and then if you're looking for jobs, get the Jobs app. So make sure you have the blue one for hiring and the green one for the crew. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. We love Nautic Nomad, and
thank you.
We love all you do with social media and everything. So thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please don't forget to give us a rating and subscribe. It really means a lot to us to know that you're listening and that you like what you're hearing. If you have any suggestions or feedback, you can message me, info@nauticnomad.com, send me an email, or check me out on Instagram @nauticnomad or Randy @C, that's Randy with an I. Check out the show notes for all the links from what we talked about today in the podcast, or you can go to nauticnomad.com/blog. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out Cotton Cruise. Go to cottoncruise.com to download their app. Safe sails and following seas. Until next time, we've got Baker Manning coming up, former Yachty and also former Below Deck Bravo superstar. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.